figure out what some actionable stuff we can do, some things we can take away and do, right? To make our lives easier, to make our lives better. So let's put it to Vegas first for this one. So for you folks, what's one interesting thing you heard in your discussion?
You guys want to go? No, go ahead.
Interesting?
Yeah. What's it?
Well, my observation, I have a really low dealer loyalty, even though I have a lot of dealers. I have really high in the active dealers and dealers submitting. And I realized that because my prospecting and networking and penetration, or penetrating accounts is low, that is the cause of that. So I wanted to focus on that and also go to reps with a high dealer loyalty and get their support and advice on how to increase it.
That's super insightful. Thank you very much. What was your name?
Heidi.
Heidi, thank you, Heidi. That's very insightful. I think I heard a lot of that. It's kind of a common thread for us, is that in a lot of the groups, people were, they felt like maybe their account penetration wasn't where it needed to be, and it was because of the way that we're communicating with our dealers. And if we were communicating a little more effectively with them, creating kind of friendships there over the phone, maybe they'd be coming back to us more. Loyalty would be there, customer penetration would be there. So right in that area, a lot of us need to work. So thank you very much, Heidi. What about from one of the other groups? What'd you find interesting? Go for it.
With the exception of career and finance on the life wheel, I suck at everything else.
You know what? Self-honesty is important, right? Now, my guess is you don't suck at everything else. There's some areas where you're really not great, and some areas where you really are okay.
Yeah, just get zero of my attention.
So if there was an area that you felt like really needed more effort, that you commit to making more effort in, what would it be?
Probably my wife. I'm sure she'd thank me and appreciate it. Family, parents, all that good stuff.
It's hard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for what it's worth, and this, you may relate to this or you may not, but in my personal situation, I work hard, and I work a lot. My wife also works hard, and she works a lot, right? She takes care of our family. She's a teacher here in Garden Grove. And I kind of think it's my job, I kind of have a traditional male perspective on it, which is, it's kind of changing a lot. I feel like my job is to take care of and build a future for our family. And her job is to kind of operate in the now. But that's not always right. It's not always right. I really need to be a better communicator with her, and I really need to sometimes play in her court. And sometimes maybe she needs to play in mine a bit too. Right? So really insightful. These are the kinds of things that can come out of this. So let's take one more observation from one other group. Something else you saw or a change that you feel like you need to make. Go for it.
I actually found it interesting just to have 3 people here all in management and how different are, just what we need to work on and, the things that we're good at, that we're all so different.
Isn't that interesting? Right? To me, and you may agree or disagree, but to me the great problem with management is knowing what to manage. Right? We've got so many things going on in our lives, and if we've got a management responsibility, we have a whole team, and so we're in their lives with them too. Right? And so what is the 1 or 2 or 3 things that you work on in your life and in your job as a manager to really kind of advance the team, right? And maybe that's not the problem. Maybe the problem is, how do I manage the job instead of kind of letting the job manage me? I work with a lot of business owners, and in their situations, oftentimes what they tell me is, look, Brett, I need to work on the business rather than in the business. But I find myself constantly working in the business. Right? And so figuring out kind of how to get our arms around that is an important piece. Turns out that that's pretty related to this idea of communication too. Right? So we're all kind of circling in on some of those ideas. When we come back from the break, we're going to create a vision for ourselves. It's not a CPS vision. It's not a Dale Carnegie vision. It's not a Brett Potts vision. It's your vision for yourself. So in just a moment, we're going to take 10 minutes. During those 10 minutes, please think about, if you had to narrow it down to 1 or 2 things you want from yourself, from your life, what are those 1 or 2 things that you want? These are things that can help you light your life on fire. Come back in 10 minutes to see how we're going to do this. See you then.